Hey guys, so in this video I'll briefly explain why we chose TypeScript over other languages such as Python or C# that are now quite popular in scripting environments, in data science, in parametric design and engineering. Basically, with Bit by Bit, we wanted to create a platform that is very much frictionless. So what that means is that everyone can just open it up without any installations and be able to run algorithms within it, having no sort of in between step where you must do something. So of course we have subscriptions, we have some 3D models and configurators and algorithms that work only after you subscribe. But in principle, the majority of things on Bit by Bit can be done without even logging into the application. So you can copy paste some code from our tutorials into the editor and just run it immediately and get some results. So this is quite powerful, and this is also a power of the web and the power of the web browser itself. The language that the web browser speaks is JavaScript, and JavaScript has its flaws as it's a very free language. It's comparable to maybe Python in that way that you don't have type safety. So this makes it good and bad in certain ways. So I'm coding large-scale applications a lot, and if you only use JavaScript, that's becoming quite complicated if the apps scale to a larger size. And of course, there are people who will disagree with me and just like other languages, and they are just opinionated in a different way. Well, I am strongly supporting TypeScript and the ideas behind it, and I will just explain a few of those and how they help in the development of your scripts. So for example, things that you already saw, such as when you type bit by bit and you click dot, you see here all of those potential options to choose from. And this is called IntelliSense, that leads you to your next choice. And the editor knows about these options because we use types, and types are defined by those by things like this. So bit by bit base has all of those properties defined. In JavaScript, for example, you will not get these because JavaScript is not typed, so you don't have the IntelliSense. And nowadays things are changing in JavaScript world. Of course, you've got now classes and things that sort of have possibilities to infer types better, but still the TypeScript remains as a very powerful tool that helps developers read less documentation. And that's what you do in JavaScript a lot. So you just open up the documentation of the API and you have to really learn by heart basically what each property does and how to access it, etc., etc. Here it's much more direct, and also if things change you see that immediately. So if you do a mistake, for example, if you assign so let's say I will create a variable I that is 0, and I will later in the code say that it's data. Well, that's not allowed, and TypeScript will tell that because the string is not assignable to type number. Basically, in JavaScript that is perfectly fine to do this kind of transition, but these kinds of transitions from numbers into text often lead to code being buggy. Basically, you create mistakes when you don't follow those simple rules that just makes your life easier. So for example, if I do something like you already saw things and kids corner, birdhouses, chirpy chalet, and then let's create something, you see that it begins complaining immediately. JavaScript would not complain, but you would hit run to run the code, and then you would get the error. And that's just preventing you from doing things incorrectly when seeing things that don't work immediately. And that just, well, it doesn't look like much from the first instance. It does save you a lot of trouble in practice. So trust me when I say that. I use TypeScript in large projects, and this just saved my bottom, if I might say that, so many times, that this is just a great language, great superset that works really well. So that's why we chose it, and we think that beginners appreciate that as well, because like, let's say you're new to bit by bit, right? You don't know what kind of things exist on it. Well, with TypeScript, you can just sort of do these copy paste from this documentation here and say, yeah, so let's just create this options object like that. And also, we are not even sure what did we do now. So in JavaScript, you would not know what you instantiate as long as you just use it, basically, and it fails and you read documentation again and things like that. But yeah, so this is TypeScript. So now I can click dot and I see all the properties and their types and things like I can do. So interior length, right? I know that it's not just anything, it's just number, right? So I cannot say interior length is just a text, blah, 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 or something. I also cannot say that it's some random object. And I also cannot say that it's bit by bit dot advanced. Like it does know that advanced is not assignable to type number, as well as this, well, blah, blah is a text, right? So string is not assignable to a type number. So these are all potential mistakes that we avoid immediately. So if I just say 4, that's a number, then then TypeScript is satisfied. And that's exactly the reason why we use it. So, and now we can also say options. By the way, you cannot just do anything here. Like, so if I say create and I type dada here, well, that's also not fine. And TypeScript just immediately understands that type string is not assignable to type chirpy chalet DTO. So that's very helpful. And when you are coding and you don't really understand what is happening, TypeScript sort of naturally leads you onto the right thing without you running the app and crashing it constantly. Or even worse, your users running it and crashing it, and you not understanding why it's crashing, because yeah, maybe there's some property that is undefined, maybe there's something that is wrong with your assignments somewhere along the way, which may happen, right? The code is quite complex applications and algorithms, they tend to be able to sort of create mistakes where you don't expect them to happen. And these small steps of TypeScripts that they prevent and make the quality of the code better and the life of the developer easier. So this is just a small leadway into why we chose TypeScript, why it's helpful for beginners even, while it is meant for professional developers making large-scale applications. It's also helpful for beginners because of all these things and guidelines that sort of allows you to be a better coder. I hope this lecture is not too boring. I hope you understand why the TypeScript is handy. And furthermore, TypeScript at the end, it compiles to JavaScript, right? So it runs on the browser as well natively. And this is just easy then. This is why we chose it. This is compatible with our stack and it's very flexible and we're happy with it. So I hope you guys will appreciate the language and be willing to learn it. Yeah, so good luck with that. Let's see each other in the next videos. Cheers.